Well, this all started when Jaguar came to us and said, well, we want to do something around the XFRS, what can you guys do? And I saw a piece of artwork that had come from the agency, and it had like the Leaper, the Jaguar logo done in tire marks. I thought, that is really cool. It'd be really cool if we could replicate that. Sounds great in theory, but of course doing it in practice is very, very difficult. And that's when the guys at Mind Over Eye came into the picture, because the only way you could do that was with CGI work. It takes an awful lot of people to produce even a short 30-second ad. Someone needs to think of the idea, someone needs to, write the script. Then we had a crew down while we shot shots of the car drifting down at El Toro.
Started initially setting up all of the different locations of where I wanted everybody to set up camp. Yeah, it must have been, 30, 35, 40 people there, something like that.
So when we're on set and we're looking to integrate computer-generated assets into a live-action plate, we have a special device that allows us to take a spherical image of the environment that we're placing the computer object into.
And it creates a lighting dome. And what that does for us is, if we wanted to use it in any CG capacity, we can kind of take that lighting setup and apply that to a car.
Exactly the way the lighting was on set, you can very accurately reproduce that with a spherical image. We knew we wanted to get really dynamic, sort of close-up and personal drifting shots, so we decided to put most of our money into the pursuit vehicle. It's like a $2.5 million camera car that's got a 23-foot boom arm, and the thing can go, 100+ miles an hour. The pursuit vehicle is a pretty complicated piece of equipment to operate. It takes 5 people to operate the car.
And all 5 seats have monitors within it, and everybody has a different role. So Bobby controls the crane. Joe Ciccio will actually control the head. Then you have Kevin, the first AC, will actually dial in the focus and run the lens itself. So when we would approach a series of shots, we would basically, with Ken Gucci, kind of line up and say, okay, here's what we want to capture. Here's the angle of the front tire that we'd like to capture. How are we going to get there? And we would actually use, 2 little Hot Wheels and diagram that out, and then we would hit that shot. The approach was to try and capture the car in a real aggressive cat-like motions. Ken Gucci is so accurate. You can tell him, we want you to be right here at this point of the lens, and he can land that shot and just nail it. So it's pretty impressive.
I mean, they were playing chicken with the camera and the Jaguar, basically. It was like the Jaguar was a bull, and they were just yelling Toro outside the pursuit vehicle. And
the moment I got in the car, I knew this day was going to be a fun day. Normally, you would find yourself struggling with, not enough horsepower or too much grip, too little grip. To be able to get the car to do what the director wants, especially with this car, was quite easy. The very first set of tires lasted maybe 2 minutes. Yeah, we went through 6 sets of tires.
So we shot a lot of footage, and all the footage we shot was extra large imagery, because we didn't know if we were going to need to resize or reposition based on our final frame. We also shot a lot of frames per second, so we shot everything in slow-mo.
So yeah, we were actually the B camera, so we were like the gorilla, as you would say.
But then we showed up and built the camera, and just massive thing that we were trying to lug around, and we weren't quite as mobile as the A camera.
When you played it back, you could tell that the lens we were using was far superior to anything we normally use.
There's a lot of talented CG artists that contributed to the piece as well.
Well, when we first started the spot, we thought that we were going to have 50% CG footage, 50% real car footage. The reason for that was we wanted to demonstrate how closely we could match our CG footage with the actual footage. We requested the CAD files from Jaguar, which are like the engineering files that typically we get whenever we're creating a car photorealistically.
We brought it in to a series of programs before we finally get it into 3D Studio Max, which is the program that we animate and light the car with. We took the car in, we attributed the vehicle with all of the shaders to look realistic in a 3D environment. And then we go through and rig the vehicle so that we can use our animation tools to do all the driving and recreate the drifting moves.
And we had certain things we thought for sure were going to be CG because we knew we would never be able to capture them, but we did.
All of the shots that are in the piece now are all live action. Their only CG bit is the end tag.
A lot of the augmentation that we ended up doing was painting the pursuit vehicle out of the reflection in the car. So when you're coming around the car with this camera head on this vehicle, you can see the reflection of it in the vehicle. The manufacturers hate that. So we have to paint that out frame by frame, remove that from the reflection as it travels over this really highly reflective car surface. Most of what we ended up doing was tracking in additional tread marks and debris onto the actual concrete because it was not enough to get the concept across. So we ended up laying a lot of rubber down, but it didn't fill up the concrete to the extent that it needed to look good with the end tag.
We added all of the skid marks and whatnot into the plates by tracking the car in and actually laying those skids into the footage. As the car comes by, a lot of the fume that's coming off of the tires that's being created by the drifting, we had a fume artist create a lot of that stuff, and then the compositors took that, blended it with a lot of the smoke and debris that was already in the plate.
So basically we tried to tell the story of painting the tread marks on the tarmac, and how do you do that visually?
We had an hour and 40 minutes of selects after we pulled all of this stuff out, so we had a giant pool of really great shots.
We had some really dynamic shots, and we decided to go with a lot of speed ramping and kind of play with the high frame rate that we shot it on. And
we wanted to be able to have a lot of movement where we really whipped through a lot of the range of motion and then just caught a little bit of the moment and then were able to pull through it. So we would speed everything up and then run it to our slow-mo clip and then speed out of it.
I love the look of the piece overall. I think Bill's done a great job in terms of color correction. The guys in CG did a great job in terms of bringing the whole image to life. I think the edit's terrific as well.
I'm really impressed with what we've done. You know, it's one thing to have a vision, you see it in your mind's eye. It's another thing to see it up there on the screen. It's a fabulous process, the creative process, yet lots and lots of people contribute stuff that no one person can do, and you end up with this product, and I'm really pleased with it.